Anti-Afro Bengalis, I'm starting out by thanking all of the people who have been subscribing to the channel. You know, I've been on YouTube for 4 years. And you know, I don't like to brag about myself, but you all tell me all the time that I'm a reliable source. That's why you continue to return to this channel, because I give you reliable information. Now listen, you know the last video that I posted? I talked about the reactivity, about the panic, about the powerless desperation. I want to make sure you copy the link to that video and you keep it as one of your favorites, because that video will never grow old. Whenever you see a frenzy, a flurry of activity going on, and it's just running around like chickens with their heads cut off, it still applies. It's applying to the title that you see. It applies to the situation that is going on right now. Now, I had to edit the video that I was going to post because I was going to give you some additional detail about the plaintiff in the federal lawsuit that was filed against Umar Johnson. Recently added 2 defendants, also added those or named several other people. Well, that plaintiff contacted me today and made a decision to file for a dismissal. That dismissal has to be, I guess, signed off with the judge. And that individual gave me the specific reason and the strategy behind that decision. I was going to come on and explain that. However, I'm going to have to agree with some pretty sound advice that was put forth, that the plaintiff's actions are going to speak much louder than my words ever could when it comes to the strategy behind requesting the dismissal. I'm going to let that speak for itself. When that time comes, when that moment arrives, absolutely, I'm going to bring it to you. I'm going to let the plaintiff take care of that through his actions. Now, the reasons for the dismissal being requested by the plaintiff, that's going to be a matter of public record. By no means is the matter closed. That is the part that I decided I'm not going to get into now. Now, let's go back to the powerless desperation. That still stands. Now, this is something I want to make sure I get through loud and clear. While you are on social media, not just YouTube, this is something, if you listen to anything that I say, listen to this and listen very carefully. It is very important that you resist every urge that you can possibly bring up in your being, not to replicate any of this madness that you see before you. I'm talking to adults because this channel is for adults. It may be tempting. It may be, you have this urge to strike out, to retaliate, to replicate the vile and disgusting behavior that you see other people engaging in, because you feel this sense of injustice. Patience is a virtue. Being anxious and impulsive because you feel you need to get back at someone because their behavior is beyond disgusting, rancid, reprehensible, and just repugnant. Something you may have never experienced in your life. And maybe you have experienced it and it gets you to a point where you just want to lash out. Resist the temptation, because if you do not, you can find yourself in a very, very bad situation that you are going to have extreme difficulty extricating yourself from. And this is the quandary that all of these people remain in. This situation by no means is over. The fact that this person, the plaintiff, has withdrawn the federal lawsuit does not mean the circumstances that led to it is over, because it's not. But if you want to know the specific details, the intricacies, I'm going to take the time to sit down and I'm going to tell you about it. So come back to this channel if you want the legal information, if you want the details about what happened, you want the truth, I'm going to give it to you. Stay tuned, people. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. Now, if you want the document that the plaintiff sent to me, let me tell you, people, it's explosive. It is explosive. You never, ever in your life want to be the subject of this dismissal document. Not in a million years. There isn't anything anybody could ever say about me. Nothing that would compare to something like this. This is absolutely devastating. So if somebody thinks celebrating a dismissal of this case is something to dance around a fire, think again. Dr. Umar Johnson at gmail.com. Now, this email is not associated with this channel. If you would like a copy of that document, and I believe it hasn't yet hit the federal PACER system yet. The person emailed it to me today. So this is going to be the raw copy. And for people who support the channel, keep in mind the video that I posted recently about the frenzy and the panic and the powerless desperation. That is what you keep in mind. Don't stress yourself out about what people are saying about me, because there's a way to really manage that. Let people think they're winning. Don't bother these individuals. Let situations play out. Have patience. Now, there is so much more to come. You know that. I mean, there was some very disgusting displays of arrogance on the YouTube streets, people, that have nothing to do with this lawsuit. I was completely nauseated. I'm going to be recording a video. It's so shocking to see some of the things that go on. And I think it was pretty obvious to the person, because the person didn't even have the nerve to put the live stream comments back up. And it was just a display of me, all these absolutes and all these, it was just professing to be this professional. It was just a big, nasty, smelly stain on the helping profession. The display was just horrific. And I'm so glad so many of you were there to call it out for what it was. It was garbage, complete garbage. And you know what I'm going to do for you? I'm going to send you some links to some people that can provide you some balance and some comfort. Because as you know, I keep a separation, total separation between two worlds. And when you don't do that, here you see the outcome. But I want you to see those people who, when they're on the internet and they're representing a profession that is noble, that is caring, that is kind, that doesn't look to just deliberately try and make you feel like you're worthless, while trying their hardest to convince others that they're better when we know they're not. Check out some of these links. And I'm not saying, of course, you don't know this, but I want you to see this offset because that display was so vile. Understandably, those live stream comments are nowhere to be found. It was just very disgusting. There is always going to be more to come. In the meantime, you know the drill. Buyer beware.